What is up, everyone? Jay here with another Fire Emblem Heroes video, and today we're going to take a look at the Choose Your Legend 7 Fate channel for Soren, Robin, Golvig, and Korin. So yeah, we're here once again. We do this every year to see what kind of braves we'll get, and of course, what kind of skills we'll get, and the designs, and see what Intelligent Systems has been cooking for the past 6 months. And we're going to start with female Korin, the winner, or should I say the second place winner of the female side, and she is wearing a pretty cool outfit, I guess. I mean, it's what you'd expect from Korin, right? It's nothing, I guess, particularly new, but yeah, it's basically a Vala design, a Revelation design, I suppose. I played Revelations, but I never beat the route, so maybe this is a reference to something. But yeah, she looks pretty cool. She's a silent bloodline, and she's a colorless dragon once again. This is like the third or fourth colorless dragon alt at this point. I might be wrong. I don't know, there's just so many Korin alts. But yeah, Vala Stone is pretty crazy. A lot of the skills here are going to be crazy. So Vala Stone gives her -1 cooldown after unit acts, or if Kanto triggers. After Kanto applies this status, Divine Vein Stone to unit space and spaces within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. So to unit space and spaces within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn, that's actually a lot of range. So it doesn't seem that much, but it's actually pretty big. At the start of combat, if she's alive, she inflicts -5 to all their stats on the foe and neutralizes effects that guaranteed foes' follow-up attacks and effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks. So basically no follow-up, and also reduces damage from foes' attacks by 30%. So it's just a flat 30%, no stat check involved. So that's pretty amazing, and it's not the first or second hit, it's just straight up 30%. So that's going to really help her bulk. And if foes' range equals 2, of course, that's the depth damage. So the Divine Vein Stone effect is something we haven't really seen in Fae. And it makes sense with Korin because there are Divine Dragon effects, and if you played Fire Emblem Fates, there's stuff like that. But she's not the only unit here in this batch that has Divine Vein effects. But yeah, Divine Vein Stone, in Korin's case, applies the following effects on the space for unit and allies. Grants +6 defensive res during combat, and reduces damage from foe specials by 10 during combat, which is pretty cool. So you kind of get that flat damage reduction, just whatever damage they're doing with a special, you reduce it by 10. It does exclude AoEs though, and also reduces damage from area effect specials by 50%, so it doesn't affect AoEs for the first part, but the second part does. So you get 50% damage reduction on AoEs, which helps. And then also, Divine Vein effects do not stack, replaces any existing Divine Vein effect. Divine Vein effects applied simultaneously cancel each other out. So whatever future Divine Vein effects we get, or if you do this with Golvig, who also has a Divine Vein effect we'll get into, it will cancel it out, so you can't really stack them or anything like that. So it's one at a time, which makes sense. That's balance, I guess. And here she is fighting Duma. The Duma is going to do Glimmer and do just 1 damage because it reduces it by 10. So that's pretty cool. As you can see, the Divine Vein Stone effect takes place, and you can see the range it has, which is pretty crazy. Basically, everybody here gets AoE damage reduced, and also damage reduction from specials and extra defense and res. So we haven't really seen this kind of visual map change like this in Fae, I don't think. So this is kind of a first. We've seen this in the main series. If you played Engage especially, there's a lot of effects like this. And Korin, I think, has something similar in her, as one of her specials in Engage. So I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, this is pretty cool. We haven't really seen something like this on the map, if that makes sense. But yeah, that is a pretty good effect because it's going to make her really, really good defensively and just support her allies. And as you can see, Goto's here as well, so he reduces AoE as well even further. So you can kind of, I guess, stack it with someone like Goto. But yeah, Divine Vein Stone, really cool effect. I like how it looks on the map, and it's something you're going to have to watch out for because it's after she acts, though. So it's not at the start of turn, I guess, so it's after she acts. So if she attacks, then she applies it, or if someone attacks her, she applies it, I guess. But yeah, and then we're not done yet. Realms United is her PRF-A skill. She has this encounter built in, and if foe initiates combat or the foe is greater than or equal to 75% HP, she inflicts attack speed, defense -7 to all her stats, and reduces damage from the foe's first attack by 7. And then for the standard attacks, first attack means only the first strikes, and for effects that grant units strikes twice, it means the first and second strikes. So she gets extra stats, this encounter, and also further damage reduction. So this is going to make her really, really bulky, and she can counterattack regardless of the range. So that's really cool. And then Counter Roar, so we're not done. There's still so like I said, all the skills here are pretty crazy. Counter Roar 4 gives attack speed -4 on the foe, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 30%. There's just so much damage reduction in Korin's kit. And then also the unit's next attack deals damage 30% of the foe's attack damage prior to reductions, resets at the end of combat, only highest value applied, and also has 7 HP healing, because why not? So Counter Roar kind of works like I think it kind of works like negating breath, I think, if I remember correctly, with legendary Korin. So Counter Roar is an inheritable skill because it does have the tier 4 on it. And I think, I'm not sure, but it looks like it's inheritable to only dragons. So that could be the case because Roar sounds like something for a dragon. I don't think it's a pure F skill. It's kind of like Scowl skills; those are only on dragons. So let me look at something real quick at the trailer though that I might have missed before they did Counter Roar when Letizia attacked. So yeah, Letizia attacks. She attacks. Okay, wow. Okay, so Corrin did just savior Letizia there, which is crazy. So is Corrin an armor unit? I guess she is an armor unit. So that's pretty cool. She probably has a save skill built in, or a save skill in her kit. But yeah, of course she's an armor unit. She has armor flow. What am I talking about? So yeah, she is an armor unit. So I was tripping. I was like, is she infantry? Because we're so used to Corrin being infantry. But yeah, she is an armor with some kind of save skill, and she's going to be very, very bulky. So Corrin is going to be a really good tank, dragon tank, one of the best. The next unit on the banner is Soren, second place winner. They had to make him a mage. I didn't really see him in anything else. I mean, I guess they could have made him something else, different weapon type, but Soren, you know, that's his thing. He's a mage. And he's wearing an arc mage or an arc sage outfit, which is pretty cool. He looks cool, and he has some pretty, like, honestly, some kind of meta changing stuff. So arc sage tome gives him -1 cooldown at the start of turn. He grants attack speed, defense, res +6, and assigned decoy. So if you've played engage, assigned decoy is one of the skills from his emblem ring or emblem bracelet. And assigned decoy and engage, it basically makes it more likely that that person will get attacked, I believe. But in this game, in FEH, it makes it to the point where whoever has assigned decoy will be able to savior, and you don't have to be an armor unit, which is crazy. But it only works on a support partner within 2 spaces of unit, and if unit is not on a team with unit support partner, to ally with the highest defense within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. Let me read that. To ally with the highest defense. Okay, so it still applies it to other people that aren't support partners, but you have to have the highest defense. So that kind of makes sense. And if unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, he grants bonus to attack, speed, defense, res during combat +5, and the highest bonus on each stat between allies within 3 spaces. So this is kind of the friend blade tome that we've seen before on other weapons. So it's nothing super new, but it's going to be strong for Soren here because he's going to have the updated stat spread, and we're not done yet. So he also calculates each stat bonus independently, and if unit's resistance is greater than the foe's res, he also has Dragon Wall built in, which is going to help him tank better. So assigned decoy right here, if foe's range is equal to the unit's range and foe initiates combat against an ally within 2 spaces of Soren, or I guess of any partner that has assigned decoy, he triggers savior on unit, and it only triggers if the unit is not equipped with a skill that can trigger the savior effect. So it obviously is not going to work with an armor unit that already has a save skill. So this is basically for any kind of unit, like in this case Ike, or any kind of bulky infantry unit that would want to be a save tank. This could help. So this is actually pretty crazy because you don't have to run save tanks technically if you have Soren. You can just put assigned decoy and try that. So as you can see, Ike right here tanking the Lance Flyer and then killing him with the Radiant Ether. So that is really cool. I didn't expect assigned decoy to be in FEH, but it's kind of funny because a lot of the, I think Corrin and Soren here both have stuff from engage, which is pretty cool. Some from their emblem rings. And then he comes with rare talent, his PRF-A skill. So again, just like last year, everybody's got a PRF skill of some kind. So nobody's really left behind. Like it used to be the case where second place people wouldn't get a PRF skill. So kind of glad they changed that. So rare talent at the start of combat, if he's alive, he grants +7 to all his stats and disables foes' effects that calculate damage. So basically stops adaptive damage. And during combat, also if the following effects will occur based on the value of the unit's resistance minus the foe's resistance, greater than or equal to 1, he neutralizes effects that inflict special cooldown charge, so he neutralizes guard effects. And if greater than or equal to 10 in either foe's range 2 or unit initiates combat, he attacks twice during combat. So rare talent's really strong, gives him extra stats, stops adaptive damage, has no guard, and also has the brave effect. So he's a very strong mage. As you can see, he's got 47 resistance. He's not that fast. You can see only 34 base speed, but he's got a good attack stat, and he comes with flare, magical no follow-up, and times pulse as well, so you can kind of see his kit there. But yeah, Soren's definitely pretty strong, one of the better mages for sure. You're gonna have to watch out for him because not only is he strong, but he's also supportive with that assigned decoy, and he can hit twice. So there is Cornelia trying to attack him, and yeah, rare talent is definitely talented. And then he comes with flare, a special that might be inheritable, I don't know. It definitely could be. It's not exclusive in Radiant Dawn or Path of Radiance, but in those games it worked off resistance, and it's no different in this game. So if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 70, when special triggers, he boosts damage by 60% of foe's resistance. So yeah, you use the foe's resistance against them. And if unit's HP is greater or less than 70, when special triggers, he boosts damage by 40% of foe's resistance and restores 30% of maximum HP. If I remember correctly, in Radiant Dawn, it did heal HP as well. So basically, the less HP you do, the less damage you're going to be boosted by. But even if it's less than 70, you still get HP healing. So that's pretty cool. So I like Flare. I can see this being heritable, honestly. We'll see. But yeah, that is Brave Soren. Pretty cool kit. Really unique unit, honestly. I'm kind of tempted to get him, even though I don't like him. Out of character-wise, I probably like him the least out of these four. But just to have that assigned decoy would be pretty fun to make like Brave Martha's safe tank, which would be kind of crazy. So yeah, that is Brave Soren, bringing that assigned decoy that he had in Engage. All right, on to the first place winner for the women's division, Golvig Snakes on a Plane. So here she is, and I actually like her design a lot more than her original design for some reason. I don't know, the pants are kind of cute. I don't know, I think she looks cooler. But yeah, Golvig Seer Beyond Time, and this time she is a blue mage flyer instead of an actual beast. Which is cool because I guess they'll save the actual beast version for her mythic or whatever. But yeah, here is Brave Golvig. Now she is insane. She has some cool stuff for sure and makes her one of the more unique tome users. But yeah, Cycle's Turn, this weapon is, you can see it and you're like, oh, it's not that big of a text, but it's still really strong. Gives her Canto 1, -1 cooldown, and if a unit initiates combat or bonus is active on unit, she grants plus $5 stats and grants further attack speed plus X, X equaling the number of turns times 2. So let's say there's 4 turns, she gets 4 times 2, so that's 8 extra attack and speed, maximum equal 10. She also gets true damage, 20% of her speed, and she's going to be very fast, as you can see. Buffed up is 53, and she has attack speed Oath, so that is what? That is 47 base speed, I think, because I think attack speed Oath does plus 6, I think. And then also she also has no follow-up. So simple weapon, but it's really strong for her, and it's not even the craziest part of her kit, which we'll get to. But yeah, the Cycle's Turn is going to pretty much help her depending on more turns there are. She gets more stats. She also no follow-up, true damage, Canto. So pretty much everything you want from a flyer. So that is her weapon. And then she also has that effect, which we'll get to. So Gold Unwinding is her PRFB skill, inflicts further stats on the foe, speed res -5, and at start combat if she's alive or half alive. Unit initiates combat and she reduces damage from foes first attack by 60%, so that's a lot of damage reduction. And if she initiates combat, she also grants another action to herself after combat and inflicts gravity on herself and pair up cohort during their next action. Will not trigger again for 2 turns after triggering. So it's every 2 turns. If she initiates, she can move again, which is pretty crazy because we haven't really seen ranged Gale Force. The only other unit that comes close is Leaf with Niran Zeal, and that also had a restriction where after it triggers, Leaf can only move 1 space, I believe. And a similar thing here, so gravity will be inflicted on her. So it's a little bit balanced, but in her case, you know, compared to like Fallen Edgard, for example, who also has this Gale Force, when you can move again after the initiation. Golvig is a ranged unit, so it's going to be a lot easier for her to trigger because she has more range, obviously, compared to someone like you know, Edelgard. So Gold Unwinding has damage reduction by 60%, which is huge. It's going to help her survivability and extra stats as well. So Gold Unwinding is pretty crazy. It's going to make her one of the best initiators. But it doesn't stop there, because on top of all this, with no follow-up, tons of stats, damage reduction, and the ability to move again, on top of that, you can also inflict these tile changes, which is going to be another Divine Vein effect. In this case, it's going to be Divine Vein Flame. And the difference between this one and Corrin's is on her weapon. So Corrin's is on her weapon, so that means no one else can really give the Divine Vein Stone effect. But in this case, Flared Sparrow is inheritable, it looks like, because it has that gold border around it, which I didn't think it was inheritable, because like there's no way they would actually let other units also have Divine Vein Flame, right? Because it's easy to assume it'd just be stuck on Golvig and it's unique to her, which I hoped was the case, but it doesn't look like it because Flared Sparrow has the gold border. So it looks like it's inheritable, so it's another Sparrow skill that's going to be like Remote Sparrow, one of the top tier Sparrows. So I'm kind of bummed out about that. I'm not sure how to feel. I mean, I kind of dislike it because I want it to be only on Golvig just to make her unique, but I guess this is inheritable to everybody, unless for some reason they change the gold border, I don't know. But if this is inheritable, then yeah, ranged units, assuming it's only on ranged units, because Remote Sparrow is only on ranged units, then this goes crazy, because they can also apply divine effects, these Divine Vein effects, because like, at least if it's not only on Golvig, maybe just give it to Fates Royals, because they have the Divine Vein thing, you know, or like specific units or something. But in this case, I guess it's inheritable, which is insane. But yeah, Flared Sparrow, this gives the ability to deal 7 damage to foe as combat begins. So it's basically the free splash damage, kind of Savage Blow, except it's on the first it's at the beginning of combat, not afterwards. And then you also get attack speed +7. And then effects that reduce damage during combat do not apply. So basically, damage reduction doesn't apply because it's just a flat 7 damage that you'll take. And then also it will not kill the unit if their HP is below 0, or below 1, sorry. And then it applies Divine Vein Flame on 5 spaces in a line centered on foe's space, oriented left and right based on the direction the unit is facing. So whatever the foe is, and also depending on Golvig's space. So in this case, she's centered right here, so she has 5 spaces that are lit up with Divine Vein Flame. So kind of just like with Corrin's effect where the terrain changes, which is pretty cool because we haven't really had terrain effects in FEH besides like tiles and that give you defensive properties and defensive buffs obviously, but actually tiles that change with fire, and in Corrin's case the spikes and stuff is cool. So maybe in the future we'll get fog and a lot of the other main series fire emblem effects that happen sometimes, but we'll worry about that later, I guess. But on to what actually Divine Vein Flame does. So applies the following effects on space: acts as difficult terrain for foes with range equal to 2. Moving over the space costs +1 movement. Movement cost cannot exceed units allowed movement, and cannot be slowed by terrain effects do not apply. So I think that means like Kadean Lind won't be affected by this, I assume. I'm not sure because he won't be slowed by terrain, so it doesn't apply to it, I think. I hope so. So that will be nice for me as a +10 Kadean Lind user. But honestly, I'm not sure. Maybe, I don't know. There's just so much text, man. At the start of enemy phase, deals 7 damage to foe, and also as combat begins, deals an additional 7 damage to foe. So even more splash damage on top of the splash damage she has at the beginning of the Flared Sparrow. And then the same conditions as well earlier. And of course, Divine Vein effects do not stack, and they replace an existing Divine Vein effect. So compared to Corrin's Divine Vein Stone, it's definitely defensive in nature, but it's more based on the terrain and the map than Corrin's was more in combat with the damage reduction and stuff. In this case, this is going to make Golvig a really strong kind of Gale Force, Aether Raid's offense initiator, because she can attack your team, and perhaps she might be able to break through a save tank. I mean, she doesn't have damage reduction piercing, but she can hit really hard and have damage reduction. So she can maybe take out a save tank or some kind of tank in general, one of their units, and then retreat back with Kanto. And then she can also apply these Divine Vein Flame effects on the ground, which is going to make the foe even harder to try and chase her down after she attacks. So Golvig is going to be one of the best initiators in the game because she can move again, and also has this Flared Sparrow Divine Vein Flame effect, which is insane to think about. So lots of splash damage and lots of just crazy stuff overall. And because she can move again, she can apply another batch of flames after she attacks this Embla here with Flared Sparrow. So as you can see, the Embla does take that chip damage, and then Golvig is going to go ahead and do her hit. And then after that, more flames show up. So 10 spaces basically, which is insane to think about. And then right here, the Adun is going to move, attack the Peony, and the Peony is going to take, or not the Peony, sorry, the Adun is going to take 7 damage because Divine Vein Flame has been inflicted on Adun, and yeah, Peony survives. So Adun's kind of slow, makes sense, but yeah, this is crazy. So Golvig, compared to Corrin, like I mentioned, Corrin's Divine Vein effect is not inheritable, while it looks like Golvig's is, because Flared Sparrow is inheritable. So yeah, kind of nuts. I'm not really a huge fan of it. I mean, it's going to be hard to get, obviously, but you're going to have to watch out for this skill, not just in Aether Raids, but in modes in general, because that's going to slow down your units, and it's something else you have to keep in mind when it comes to trying to revenge her and just your AI or just you in general trying to move. So Golvig is insane for that. And then the first place winner of the males is Robin, Exalted Deliverer. His design is, it's cool. I like it. It's not like super, like I think it could have had a better one. I don't know. It's definitely tactician-y. Doesn't look terrible. I mean, it's Wada Tsuchiko. Wada Tsuchiko does amazing art every time. But I guess it's not something I expected. I mean, I kind of expected Levin Sword. I thought they would give him Levin Sword, but they said, nope, not yet. But they gave him a sword that Crom gave him. It's kind of dinky sword. It's kind of short. But yeah, here he is, Robin's Exalt Deliverer. And he's pretty crazy in his own right, of course. And yeah, he is a sword infantry. And he's going to be, adding to that class type of the endless competitiveness. So he has some pretty crazy stuff. Delivers Brand gives him speed +3 to start of combat. If he's alive, he grants +5 to all his stats. Reduces damage from the foe's first attack by 40%. Has Null Guard. And also, if units' max special cooldown count is greater than or equal to 3, then units attack can trigger unit special, and when a unit special triggers, excluding AoEs, he also neutralizes damage reduction from stuff like Spurn and Close Call, which we've seen in other god swords like Diamant recently. And to start a combat, if he's alive and unit's special is triggered by Glowing Ember, Bonfire, or Ignis, he also gets adaptive damage. So this is a cool callback to Awakening, where the Grandmaster class, his special class had Ignis, so that's kind of cool. And you know, regular Robin, base Robin comes with Bonfire, so that's a cool reference. So you don't have to use these specials, but if you do use it, you also get the cherry on top with the adaptive damage. So very strong weapon. He doesn't have -1 cooldown, but he will basically get that later in his other skills, so don't worry about that. But yeah, null guard, extra stats, damage reduction, the damage reduction piercing, and also adaptive damage if he uses one of those specials, which is pretty cool. So Deliverer's Brand is not the end, because Robin, you know him, he's a conniving demon, he is a strategist, so he's going to pull out some cheese out of his sleeve, and he comes with Gambit. That's not even the cheese out of his sleeve yet. Gambit 4 is an inheritable skill, a new one. It looks like a card with guard effect on it, which is kind of cool. So inflicts speed defense -4 on the foe during combat, and also if unit or foes attack and trigger unit special, deals damage during combat equal to unit's max special cooldown value -2 times 5. So let's say he has Bonfire, right? So Bonfire is -2, so that's 1 times 5, right? So that'd be 5 extra damage. I'm doing the math right? Or am I doing the math wrong? Do I have to multiply first? Do I have to multiply first? I'm not sure, honestly. At this point, FEH math is going crazy. But either way, essentially what he's getting is extra damage based on his special cooldown count. So the more he has, the more damage he's going to give. And that synergizes well with his weapon, of course. That's going to, if it triggers, he gets also a bunch of other effects, including the adaptive damage. And then also reduces damage from attacks during combat and from AO effect specials by percentage units max special cooldown count value times 10. So if he has Bonfire again, that's going to be 30% damage reduction, because 3 times 10 is 30%, maximum is 50. So Gambit is a crazy new skill. It's definitely really good on Robin, obviously, because it's tailored towards his weapon. Other units can definitely use this, but there's probably some other good ones I can't think of right now. But Gambit 4 is a cool tech option. There's just a lot of competitiveness in the B slots, so you're gonna have to compete with other B skills. But Gambit 4 is a pretty cool new inheritable B skill, so that's interesting. And here he is fighting this Oter. Robin, he just triggers his special immediately, because he can well, we'll get to, I think it shows later in his skill, but Rally Spectrum is his kind of his thing, which is cool, because I was really hoping that he wouldn't have Grand Strategy, because Grand Strategy is kind of cracked and Unity is kind of broken right now. There's no really real counter to it, and now he doesn't have Grand Strategy, which I'm glad about, but they gave him something that still gives stats along with other stuff. So did I really get what I wanted? I don't know. But Time to Tip the Scales is his PRFC skill. At start of turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, he grants a Rally Spectrum to unit and allies within 2 spaces. So this is the cheese up his sleeve that I was talking about, and unit can move to a space adjacent to any ally with that effect that is within 5 spaces of him. So basically crazy teleportation, as if we didn't need any more teleportation in FEH. That's crazy with Guidance 4 and all these units. He also adds to that, so you're gonna have to watch out for Robin's range. And he also grants +3 to all of his stats during combat, because why not add some more stats? And then Rally Spectrum, what it does is it grants +5 to all your stats to himself and whoever has the status during combat. So extra stats, and if units attack and trigger unit special, he grants special cooldown count -X to unit before the foe unit's first attack during combat. So it's kind of like, I think, what Bramamon had, where he can accelerate his cooldown before he attacks, which is cool. So X, the cooldown count is depending on if unit can trigger the unit's attacks twice effect, or if unit's maximum special cooldown count is reduced. So special trigger accelerated. So I think it means, so X equals 1 if unit can trigger. Yeah, so basically if the foe has -1 cooldown, I think, then he can also reduce, or he can also speed up his acceleration. So you saw in that clip earlier, he was able to immediately attack with Ignis after the foe attacked him. I think, let's go back to that. After, I think it was after Medius, was it? Let's see. Where was it? Right, no, it was against Oter, yeah. So Oter attacks, right? So he has 2 cooldown, and then immediately his attack is ready with Ignis afterwards because of his Rally Spectrum. So not only can he give this, not only can he use this, but he can also give it to his ally along with teleporting. It looks like his attack speed finish in his A skill. So Robin is no joke. He is an insane infantry unit. I mean, we know Robin is going to pull out some cheese with his strategy, but man, this is going to be annoying to deal with. I mean, I already complained enough about Unity, but I'm going to be complaining about Rally Spectrum now. But yeah, that is CYL7. There is all the heroes. They all look cool. I like the designs, for sure. And everybody here, even though, yes, it's annoying, and I think Flared Sparrow is the most ridiculous thing, the fact that's inheritable. Yes, and power creep is real in this game for sure. and I can understand why people get discouraged. At least I'm glad that everyone's kind of unique, because everyone's effects here, I mean, sure, some of the effects we've seen before, obviously, but some effects we've never seen before. So Corrin, we've never seen the Divine Vein, haven't seen terrain effects up to this point, really. So the Divine Vein Stone is new, the Divine Vein Flame is new, Soren's Assigned Decoy is new, and then Robin's not Grand Strategy, his Rally Spectrum is new as well. So at least they're kind of new, and they're not really repetitive too much, so I'm glad that Robin doesn't have Grand Strategy again, but they did just trade it off with something kind of better. But yeah, there is the banner for CYL7. Of course, they're going to be summoning. You can also free summon, I guess, CYL5, which is cool, and I'm going to be looking forward to the refines. I really hope Brave Mars Refine is insane at this point, because these CYL units are nasty. Yeah, so that is pretty much it. Well, not really. They're going to show off Cyril. He's going to be the GHB unit, which is cool. He's a red bow, which we don't have a red bow in the Grail pool. So I think he's the very first of his kind in the Grail pool, so that's pretty cool. And he does have a PRF weapon as well, and with Sudden Panic, and I think Threaten Speed Defense, which is okay. Not bad. Sudden Panic's okay, I guess. I mean, it's not really the best skill, but I guess if you want it for a high HP unit, you can get it. And he comes with Aptitude Arrows, so interesting to see what that will do. And he has a good stat spread of 47 base speed. So that is Cyril. Going to be a pretty popular merge project, especially because he's a new class type of his kind in the Grail pool. We don't really have a red bow, I don't think, so that's awesome. And then, of course, the Dragonflower increase. You know, save your Dragonflowers, because once the update drops, we're going to be able to get more Dragonflowers on some of our old favorites. And this banner is like, this might be one of the first times in Choose Your Legends where I don't know who I'm going to pick, because all of them provide some crazy stuff, you know, something that, all things that I would like to have. In this Askren Time Scramble, this is something, I guess, a little mini game they're doing. But yeah, this is the first CYL in a long time where I feel like I don't know who to pick. As terms of who might be the most popular pick, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Govig and Corrin might be the most popular, simply because they have those terrain effects that are really unique. But then again, Govig can apparently give that to everyone because of that Flared Sparrow not being only to her. So maybe, but Soren also provides that Assigned Decoy, and I feel like he's going to be a more popular choice for like competitive players, especially like Aether Raids players, and I guess also Summer Duels players, because you can make your units into save tanks, which is something I'm not going to look forward to because we already deal with enough save tanks. And then Robin having the ease of use with the Rally Spectrum and teleportation that he has is also really appealing for the player base. So I don't know, I think the general, I don't know, we'll have to see obviously in how these units age, of course, but they're all really strong, and I have no idea who I'm going to pick. I might Spark on the banner though, so we'll see, to maybe get some fodder or just have them as a unit, because they all bring something crazy to the table, and like I said, I think they're all pretty unique. But yeah, that is Choose Your Legend 7 and the FEH channel. Let me know what you guys think down below and who you're going to free pick, or if you have any idea who you're going to free pick. I don't know who I'm going to free pick, but either way I'm going to win, because they're all really crazy good. So that is CYL7. Leave a like if you enjoyed, guys, and please stay safe out there. Peace out.